Okay, welcome to a special behind the scenes at Pregame.com video. This is our second in a series where we pull back the curtain and give you a sense what it would be like to work in the Pregame.com offices, to live in Las Vegas and run with these guys. And by happenstance, the first video was about Marco, and the second video is about Marco. Now this is one that we hadn't planned, but it just happened. And sometimes when opportunity knocks, you have to answer.
Got to answer the door.
All right, now Marco, you're not going to be saying a lot in this video, but the beauty is the camera's going to catch your reaction. So we were at the M on Monday.
Enjoying a nice bowl game, the Fiesta Bowl, and all of us had the under in that game.
All right, so we're at the M. Us three and Steven Nova, a friend of ours, a professional batter here in Vegas, and we played in a poker tournament. And I'll just make this a quick statement: there was 4 people played, and let's just say I was the last one alive. So we'll just let that be what it is.
Let it also be known that he made the final table with the biggest chip stack and made the quickest exit out.
Steven kept saying, "We're hungry, we're hungry." So I went,
loosen up.
Yeah, I went 3 straight all-ins and lost all 3 on Cliff. So, but either way, I won the last longest bet. So we go to the buffet and it's closed. But we actually have them call the poker manager and say, these guys just played in a tournament, let them in, because it was just closing. So they actually did. We got lucky there. We got sat down, and here's the thing, and you can think about this. Marco was concerned about the amount of time to eat.
And whether everything would be available.
Because what happens at the end of the buffet
when they run out of things, they're not going to put out more pasta and marinara. Yeah. They say tomorrow.
So he's stomping around. It's almost like it's almost like something in the military, like patrolling the border. He's looking.
He's taking his rounds, and usually Marco he's got like a plan. He goes through courses. Like if you've ever gone to a gourmet restaurant, let the chef take care of you and do a 10-course meal.
Like a prefix.
Yeah, Marco does that when he hits the buffet.
He planned it himself.
Yes, but not that day. He knew he was on a time limit.
Yeah,
so he wasn't going to go through the soup salad ordeal. He was going straight for the big ticket.
First of all, there's no salads on Marco's buffet.
He was going straight to the big ticket items.
Well, the prime rib was getting a little bit small, and I didn't know if they had a backup one.
So he sits down and he says, first thing he says is, I usually don't do prime rib on plate number 1, but I saw that it was running low. And then VR looks at him, he looks at his plate, he goes, "You're a natural." He goes, "It's instinctual the way you are at that buffet." So we didn't think nothing of it. We're eating and enjoying ourselves, having a good conversation. And then it's time for round 2. And Marco's up and he's still stomping around, and I'm up there, perusing myself. And lo and behold, you hear Marco's voice ringing out throughout the buffet.
Because at this time, the restaurant was getting empty. People were gone. There was maybe like 5-6 tables left. The staff was putting stuff away. The cooks were cleaning up. I mean, they were done. There was only a couple things left that were out, and maybe you could go get coffee. But Marco wasn't done because he had a plate of crab legs that needed some butter. So after 2 rounds looking for butter, he found the executive chef.
And he's shouting. I mean, and Marco's sort of mild-mannered. That's what's interesting.
But he was, because the first cook he asked sent him in the wrong direction.
And it pissed him off.
He wasn't happy.
Because the clock was ticking.
So after
the butter was on the other side of the buffet, away from the crab legs.
After finding the head of the kitchen, who was already irate for hearing this guy yelling, the guy looks at him and says, "It's that big bucket that says butter."
So it's like right in front of him, this gigantic bucket.
A foot away.
So Marco sheepishly looks down, and I'm not sure, and you can answer, did you get an extra amount of butter?
Yeah, he took the big bowl.
Did you get an extra amount, just almost like to say, this butter is mine, I deserve it,
it's
I
like
need it.
planting the flag, when you...
And he did that because, I'm telling you, I was right at the side.
By the way, the funny part hasn't started yet.
RJ already had gone to the table, and I was upset because I didn't like anything there. I was very disappointed. I was already going to do $25 just for dessert. But anyway, I was watching this from the side, and I saw Marco, when he saw where the butter is, like he lit up and got happy and he smiled. but the chef didn't smile back. And Marco felt right there a little tense.
And then when he was walking back, though, he was mumbling under his breath, "You can't eat lobster or crab without butter.
that's what
You
I'm
need
saying.
butter with lobster." And he was like indignant. He was pissed. All right, so listen, this kind of stuff happens all the time
It ain't
with
new.
Marco. So it ain't new. So we didn't think much of it. But then we're eating, and it is late, and I look up, and Marco, his head is down. He's like, and he's cracking things, and he's eating it with his hands. And
you're hearing tick, 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 tick,
yeah.
tick.
You look, and it almost just makes you stop, and it almost like sparks flying, and you're in awe with this guy.
From the fork and knife, there were sparks.
You know when you go to the Japanese restaurants and you got the guys with the hibachi and the...
But he's doing it where he has, it's almost in sequence: crack, pull, dip, eat, wipe, eat.
And in his mind, he was already planning a possible third plate. I think that's what...
The clock was running. That was not a timeout.
That's what sparked the incident.
So I look down, and I'm averting my eyes. It's a little uncomfortable, to be honest. And then you hear a clang, and then you hear him go, oh, and you look, and the plate, he was going so fast, he actually tipped his plate up. It was like up on himself, and then the butter, the big vat, was pouring down onto his crotch. So it's pouring, he's going, like this, and he doesn't know how to get it out.
Crab leg with one arm. Holt trying to get the butter cup with the other, and the plates on the left.
So finally,
no food hit the floor.
Nothing.
No, not a drop.
Nothing.
So finally, he gets the plate up, and you look over, and his entire crotch is filled with hot butter. And I got to tell you something. His face was beat red. He knew that there was a video in that moment.
Instinctively, without no one saying anything, both myself and RJ reach for our phones to take pictures of the pan.
Because we knew the moment would pass. So we've actually captured pictures. So at this point, we're going to throw the picture up so you can catch a look of Marco's pants with the butter in them.
Disaster.
And I got to tell you, it was, I've never seen it before.
You couldn't have planned that if you tried.
I mean, because you needed to be eating that fast. Only 1% of the population
Could do that,
eats
first
that
of
fast.
all.
2, you need someone to get not just a little bit of butter, because then it wouldn't have meant much, but you need to get a vat of butter.
Where it's filled to the rim.
Filled to the rim. And then you need someone so oblivious to what's going on that they could get to the point of tipping on him before he realizes it's happening.
Because he was in suck mode, I think.
Marco,
Crack, dip,
we've got 90 seconds. Well, what's your thoughts? Has that ever happened to you before?
No, that is the first time I ever dumped a bowl of butter in my lap.
Now, what do you think caused that? Was it karma? Was it
Panic, the late timing of our eating.
You guys put me under the gun.
I thought it was.
You don't.
You're
food is
better
an
without
event.
that pressure. Like you need to have time. Dude, I'm telling you, I've gone to the Bellagio buffet, and I've gone home and exactly told my wife I've never in my life seen anything like it. Well, I've never seen such organization from a human being when he eats. I'm jealous. I'm envious. I wouldn't know how to even approach
when
the
you're a
buffet
natural,
that
when you're
way.
a natural something.
Dude, forget about it.
I mean, and the final comment I think that really epitomizes the night was he stood up. This didn't stop him. Even with the butter and everything, he went up and got 2 sets of desserts. He's walking around with no problem. He texted ahead to his fiance and said, "Hey, have the laundry, have the washing machine ready." But you ended up having to throw away the pants, right?
Yeah, pants didn't survive. She gave it a valid effort, but it didn't make it.
When he stood up though, and he had I guess you could call it a wet spot all up through his legs. The line of the night, and we'll close with it, was, "I haven't seen Marco like that since his last time at the Spearmint Rhino." All right, that's it for this week, and we'll be back next week with more very important information just like this. See you then.